Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens, and indeed our minds. I'm here with Jake Farrell. It's fair to say we're stressed, boy.
We're stressed, boy, and that's why we're sponsored by Dents, the premier service for returning your hair.
Now, would you mind passing me that yellow, you know what I'm talking about?
Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
I'd like to begin by talking about Dents, actually.
Yeah, go on.
So I've been hitting the Dents now for about a month. Now, it's very important to say, you can't regrow hair. It doesn't really make much of a difference. There are two things that I will say have happened with Dents so far.
Yes.
One is I'm using their styling products and I'm loving it.
You're loving it.
I honestly, genuinely rate them very highly. Mm-hmm. Two, I'm noticing less hairs coming out my head as I get in and out of the shower.
Yeah.
I haven't had an erection in 6 weeks, which I think is a coincidence. No, I'm joking. I am still getting loads of erections. He has
been saying some very, very combative stuff on social media. We don't know whether that's to do with Dents.
Have I?
Well, you remember there was a day where you offered to fight. You said that we would have a tag team against 3 or 4 other podcasts.
Let's get into that. So I've been trying to be more active on our socials.
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
I've been trying to be more active on the Screen Rot socials. And I think, it's just so hard trying to find the right tone. What I will say happened, and I deleted this post, but there was one morning and I was hungover, and
which is always a dangerous position for us all to be in.
Yeah,
myself, Lana, just the world at large. When you are hungover, there is no depths to which you won't sink in terms of winding people up.
I thought what you meant was that when anyone's hungover, it's dangerous, but you mean
no, you specifically, yeah, no, you specifically.
The problem is, I know we spoke about this the other day. I think hangovers at this age come in 3 stages. There's the initial just hell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm being sick. I've got a headache. I can't keep my eyes open. I need to be in bed. Really,
right?
Can't function.
Yes.
The problem is when you break through that, I find there's like a giddiness.
I find that you find that as well. Yes. yeah.
It's almost like in Shawshank Redemption, where it's like, he's out. That's how I'm out.
He's crawled through a river of shit.
I've literally crawled through a river of shit, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
And you're about to threaten the off-menu boys on Instagram.
So oh man!
And look, I'm not great on social media, and you're taking the brunt of it in terms of putting us out there, getting the word out there. You are mainly getting the word out there by issuing kind of Gypsy Roma Traveller style fight challenges to the podcasts of the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. So that was the kind of angle I was like, because I'm up for this. I'm up for a charity fight. I'm also up for a fight that we just get paid for.
He just wants to fight someone.
I just want to fight, man.
And he doesn't necessarily want to win either.
The thing is, I don't know much about podcasts, really.
No.
Despite, could you grab the aria quickly? I'm joking. Don't grab the aria.
I went to get it as
Every
well.
episode, I want an aria. No, I don't know that much about podcasts. So I was like, who should I call out? Call out Off Menu, because they're dweebs. We'll slap them about. I'll box their heads off, right? No worries there. Right, they're in big trouble. And I'll do Ben, the promoter, the producer of it as well. So I know Ben, and he's skinny as nothing. I do his dog and all. But that's a bit Tyson Fury's dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
People might have seen that clip.
I do the off-menu boys. And I do the producer as well. That is dog.
The thing with Tyson Fury's dad, we'll just talk about him quickly. He's kind of who I become when I'm hungover. Like, there's no limits. God, where's the length of these intros?
We specifically said, let's just knock out a quick intro, then we're ready. Yeah. No, go on. You become like Tyson Fury's dad. You start issuing challenges.
He's a loose cannon. And this is the thing. The way that the Furies fight, especially Tommy Fury, the one who's doing the Misfits boxing, the freak boxing.
The freak boxing.
Which is what I'm
angling to do.
This is what I want to do.
Right.
But Tommy's sort of doing that. So they just... You know, with Tyson, it's a little bit more professional because it's actual boxing. With Tommy Fury, it's just freak boxing. So they get his dad involved.
Yeah.
Problem is, there's no limits to what his dad will do.
Yeah.
And so he'll have his shirt off. You know, he'll call him out. I want to fight Mike Tyson. You know, and it's mad. And there was one.
We're just trying to get some kids to buy the YouTube, John.
Yeah, exactly.
Just chill out.
We're trying to appeal to 12-year-olds. Gypsy John, just be careful. He genuinely went to jail for gouging someone's eye out once.
Yeah.
So he I'll try and find the clip, and I'll take the time to edit this in. There was a clip once where I think they were calling out Jake Paul.
Right.
You know,
the Pauls tend to be involved somehow.
They're always involved somehow. I can't keep up with who they're mates with and who they're not. But anyway, Jake Paul had kind of Skyped in or FaceTimed in to this press conference.
Right.
He's on FaceTime just like he's on like a sun lounge or somewhere, being like, "I'll beat you up, Tommy." Right. And Tommy's there going, "No, you won't. No, you won't. You won't do that. I'll come for you." And Tyson's there, and you can see that Tyson's heart isn't in it. You can see that Tyson's like, "What the fuck? The guy's not even here."
No wonder he's depressed.
He's FaceTime. Yeah, mental health. Gypsy John gets a bit too excited. And he's going, "My son's going to do this, my son's going to do that." And you can tell that the producer's going, "This is good value. This is what we want from Gypsy John. Keep calling him out, Gypsy John."
Right.
He gets overexcited and he sort of leans over his son and goes, "And after he's knocked you out, my son's going to get your missus. He's going to bend her over. He's going to do her like a dog."
Fucking hell.
You can see Tommy literally puts his
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, Tommy puts his head in his hands and goes, "Oh my God." Tyson has to like turn around to stop himself pissing himself. And you can just see, again, it's what we sort of spoke about with Arsenal Fan TV. It's like Frankenstein's monsters got up and started biting people's heads.
Yeah. You can't. Exactly. You can't get annoyed when the tiger that you've invited round for tea starts chopping people's hands off.
Exactly.
How did we get onto that? Why is that related to the episode?
But Knuckles, the XL bully, is usually so friendly. Why did he eat your toddler's leg? We got onto that because, as you were saying, I've been a bit more active on the socials. Yes, I've been calling people out.
Yes.
And I'm going to look down the camera now and I'm going to say this. Bobby Mayer, Red Richardson. We want it. Genuinely, we want it.
Anytime, any place, anywhere.
What's their history podcast called?
I think it's called like A Day in History or something like that.
No, I don't know. They've got something. Red Richardson, Bobby Mayer. I don't even think they do the podcast anymore.
Do they not?
I spoke to Bobby about it the other day. We want it. We're game. I know, obviously, I'm pals with True Geordie. He does a lot of the Misfit stuff. He can set it all up.
What's the amount of money that you'll get in the ring for? Nothing less than
$5,000.
$5,000, okay.
5 each as well. But
okay, I get $5,000 as well, do I? Am I fighting as well?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Who am I fighting?
Bobby.
He's taller, isn't he? Don't you want to fight him?
Well, you want to fight Red?
No, to be fair.
I'll take Red, you take Bobby.
I don't want to fight either of them.
We're game. We're calling them out. Anyway.
And Amelia de Moldenberg as well.
That's what I was going to say. The reason I kept talking about why I don't really know much about podcasts, I was just calling out anyone. I was just thinking of famous podcasts on it, and I was like, and one of them I wrote, I was like, and my therapist ghosted me, we'll do you two as well. And I was like, oh no, they're both women, so I had to delete it.
Definitely not appropriate. Even the Misfits boys would be like, bit rich for us, that.
We don't fight Elbrook. We just look at her. So, we should also acknowledge we've done dents, we spoke about the fact we want to fight people. It's Christmas. It's Christmas time. This isn't a Christmas episode, but this is Christmas time. I just want to ask you, thoughts on Christmas, first of all?
I love Christmas. Favourite holiday of the year?
I love it. I will say this. My father-in-law, who I get on very well with, he just trying to think if I'm going to get dumped for that. He hates Christmas.
No.
Doesn't like it.
Why?
The whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
Right, fair enough.
Do you know that? That's a quote from the Grinch.
Oh, right.
I love Christmas, man. And this build-up period to Christmas, this kind of like mid-December.
It's the good stuff.
Oh, mate. I would say I'm pissed every night, hungover every morning, and my face swells to the point that I'm borderline unrecognisable during this time. I have a thing. I honestly, I live like Henry VIII in this time of year.
Yeah, it's tough.
Cheese boards after every meal.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I could be having a quick ready meal before getting out the door and going to work, and I'll still have a cheese board
Still
afterwards.
having a bit of Roquefort afterwards.
And I drink brandy every single evening.
Yeah, that'll get you.
And red wine. I love it, man. This is the good stuff for me. I think when you actually get too close to the actual day itself, there's a tinge of melancholy because you start realising it's not as exciting as when you're a kid. You don't really believe Santa's coming in. And
you're not getting a pair of roller skates.
Yeah, you're spending too much money. There's a load of shit you need to be.
Not spend time with your family.
My mother-in-law's coming. But yeah, this bit's the good stuff. So Rotters, we hope you're enjoying it. And and if it can be, it genuinely can be a tough time of year for people as well. So be careful. It can. It's
you're being serious?
No, I am.
I thought there was going to be like
a
John Fury impression after that.
No, it's just you might find yourself calling out other podcasts.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
You might find yourself on a Tuesday morning feeling giddy, saying to the off-menu boys that you want a charity boxing match.
Slap up, Acaster. So this week we're talking about, and it's this time of year it's very food heavy. We are talking about a food content creator this week.
Very decadent.
This guy, so I think this is a guy I've brought to you.
Yes.
And this is a guy who, again, I'll be sat there half stoned on a Tuesday night and this guy will pop up and I'll go, why do I want a Domino's now?
Yeah.
This guy, he does food content creation in the way that many, many people do. It's kind of a review thing. It's kind of like, let's go see how it is. He's done a thing that a lot of people do where they kind of speed up the footage. And I think, I can't tell if this is his personality or whether he genuinely just behaves like he's on cocaine for these videos. But he's so aggressive, so quick, so no. But also, what I quite like is he's added a kind of a gimmick to the way he reviews things.
Yeah.
It's almost like, like when you whack that thing at the fair to try and hit the high score.
Yeah, it's like
the
that.
high score jackpot for him is one of the strangest things I've ever seen someone do.
Let's hold that. We want to, and while you're thinking that, we need one of them. I know we've got a catchphrase. We've got get on this. We need a script. And you don't have to answer now, all right? By the end of the episode, we need to come up with something that's our gimmick when we're doing something killer. That's what we need, all right? And it's not calling out Grace Campbell to have a fight. All right, let's get
If Alistair wants it, he can have it.
Fucking hell. Let's get into today's episode. Today, we're talking about
Jon the Food Don. Oi, get on this.
With pleasure.
Jon the Food Don.
Jon the Food Don.
Jon the Food Don is a unique food reviewer in the sense that he does it as if he's being forced to do it because his children are at gunpoint. And he's created the strangest gimmick I've seen in reviewing.
Yes.
And I love him. This is one of the ones, by the way. I should, peek beyond the curtain for the curious audience. When we sort of came up with this concept, one of the things that we really thought would work is we were like, look, if we sort of do this in a way where the content creators we're talking about enjoy the way we've spoken about them,
Yeah, right.
they'll share our clips.
Yeah.
That's happened once in 12 episodes so far. Big John loved it and his boys loved it. Everyone else since then, we've been so cynical and nasty that they we've hidden it from them. One of them,
El Burrito took out a restraining order against us.
well, should we quickly talk about that? 'Cause we are talking about food content.
We need to set the record straight. And Jon the Food Don, we're going to talk about today. We talked about two food people before. We talked about El Burrito Monster, who makes mad food.
Makes mad burritos.
Mad burritos. And we talked about Eating with Todd, who has become this kind of like trendy London, pay him to come and eat your kind of Neapolitan pizza and then you'll get sold out for the next 3 weeks. Food Jon Don is a completely different animal to those two.
Yeah, so as you say, with Eating with Todd, again, I think there's a lot of people slipping in a bit of money to come and review them.
100%.
He's the most vanilla man on the planet. He's Mr. Missionary. And the worst you're going to get is it was great, but maybe a little bit more salt.
Yeah.
Jon the Food Don, I think if you own a fast food takeaway, and also he's kind of, what I like about him, he's a rung below in terms of like the quality. He's not spending 30 quid on cheesy chips.
Well, he's doing a public service to people like us, especially comedians that can be in any part of London on any Saturday night at 11 o'clock having not eaten. For Jon the Food Don, that's you need his direct. You're not going to buy £30 cheesy chips and be like, oh, what a lush scrummy sauce that was. Like Ian would talk. You're going to the nearest kind of
grub.
Yeah, right,
Grub.
exactly.
Cluck.
Bit of cluck.
Yeah. And so, but I think if you own one of those establishments and you see Jon come in, you kind of worry because you're like, oh my god.
He's got integrity, and again, we're hoping that this will be a nice one, and that I'm sure we'll find something nasty to say at some point, but like with the others and like with El Burrito Monster, they didn't want to share that.
No. Well, okay, so let's get on to that. So what happened the other day? Again, as I mentioned in the intro, I've been getting a bit more active on the socials. I made a bit of a faux pas in the sense that I shared a video from El Burrito Monster. I shared something he'd put up. I tagged him in it without meaning to. I didn't mean to tag him. I just wanted to show our followers what he's up to now.
Yes.
I didn't just imply. I categorically said he's mentally unwell,
which we now retract.
Which I retract because he saw it. He saw it. He responded to me.
Yes.
He saw that we'd recorded a whole podcast episode about him.
He became very scared.
Well, yeah. He listened to the episode whilst doing some food prep.
Right.
And And to be fair, he sort of took some of the things we said on board. He said, yep, the SponCon was a bit corny. It wasn't my best work, but I had to get that bag. And respect to you, Ollie. There's a reason I'm using fucking dents. The really funny thing I think that he said was he didn't just listen to his one. God bless him. He listened to a couple of episodes. He listened to the one with Eating with Todd, the other food content creator,
who it turns out is a very good friend.
He's a good mate of his. And he said, he was like, "Oh wow, now that I've listened to the one with Eating with Todd, you actually went quite easy on me, didn't you?" And I mean, look, man, let's talk about this. I've been messaging you a lot this week. I've been rattling your cage quite a bit.
Oh yeah, in terms of rattling my cage, I'm lying on the bottom of the cage. I'm dead. All my feathers have fallen out.
But when you saw that I'd tagged El Burrito Monster, you were like, for fuck's sake.
The thing is, it's like,
I didn't mean it was a genuine accident. It was a genuine mistake. I hold my hands out. I said I couldn't lose my job. That's who we should be doing for the Christmas episode.
Can you imagine how quickly my marriage would end if I get a knock on the door? Hello, are you Mr. Farrell? Yeah, I am, yeah. My name's PC Smith. I'm here on behalf of the Southwark Constabulary. We're here to give you a restraining order against the the well-known Instagram account, El Burrito Monster. You're not allowed to contact him or comment on any of his videos within the next 2 to 3 years.
I know it wound you up, but I think the internet is the Wild West nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think he took it on the chin. I think he was all right about it.
I was very surprised about how magnanimous he was about the whole thing.
Yeah, and he followed us. He was our 50th follower on Instagram. Yeah. So
well, there you go.
So this week we're talking Jon the Food Don, who, again, as I say, he does the food content stuff. He does it in a review fashion.
Yes.
But there's two things. First of all, but there's a few things. He's very aggressive in the way that he speaks and the way he reviews, and I really like that. He if he doesn't like something, he'll say it. The second thing is that he has a kind of format. He goes, "I went in, I spoke to the guy." He talks about the server.
Yeah.
Sometimes in this one we're going to watch, he speaks about them in a very nice way.
Yeah.
In
others, it can become quite personal.
Yeah, in others he's a bit weird. He sort of talks about their dress sense. He even gives them weird names based on the cuisine he's eating that isn't quite correct. If he's at a pizza place, he'll go, "I spoke to Giuseppe." I don't think his name's Giuseppe. He then does a thing where he rates the cleanliness. He's very hot on cleanliness.
Yeah, should we? So he rates the cleanliness, then he does his little.
Then he does his gimmick.
Should we watch the first one,
Let's
and then
watch the first
we
one.
can? People can get a feel for what food Jon's like.
Jon the Food Don does.
Krispy Kreme burger, vacation worthy. I went and paid these kitchen on Holloway Road a visit. I ran into the champion himself, and I also ran into Mr. MC. It was so nice to see a 5-star hygiene rating.
Nice to see a 5-star.
Scan the venue,
Kind of like my mum. My mum would feel like
vibrant
that.
and comfortable in here.
Fresh,
These
vibrant, and
Kitchen of
comfortable.
Don has finally landed. I scanned the menu and knew what I was getting. I placed my order with the champion
out of breath,
himself.
he's doing it so
10 minutes a day,
fast.
not an issue. I got the sharp stack burger meal, which came with wings, chips, and a drink, plus
Bosh.
an Oreo milk cake. My entire
Milk
bill,
cake?
$16.99. Brethrens the burger. I took my first bite of this, and will I? Blood, not only did I have to vacate, but I had to get on my hands and knees and almost my back.
It's on the street if you're listening.
So he has to vacate
on the pavement.
He gets on his knees and eats the food outside. That's his thing. If it's good enough, he vacates and eats outside.
He's just running around. He's basically crying. It's onto the wings now.
I fucking love them. They were doused in that house Somali sauce that was
Somali
dank, but even
sauce?
though they were sauced up to the max, blood, the outer coating remained crispy and crunchy. The chips crunchy on the outside, fluffy on
For
the
those
inside,
listening, the
and
aesthetic
had
of
been
this is
well
like
seasoned.
he's
But
on
the
He's
Oreo
moving
loads
at a
of
million
coke.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
And when I took my first bite
Throwing
of this,
food in his face.
teleportation number 2 I had to do.
He's
I
vacated
said,
again.
He's vacated again because he liked the Oreo milk cake.
But this milk cake was so leng.
He's using his hands to just throw it in his face now.
So bugs him alone.
The trash in the rubbish. I walked out extremely satisfied. Said safe to the man them. If you like my content, save this video. Tell me where to go next. I'm giving these man a solid 9.5.
Now,
Wow.
there's obviously a lot to unpack there. For
Yeah,
people
where do you
listening,
start with that?
For people listening, I'm sorry that we didn't manage to narrate it as well as we'd like to, because he's moving at a million miles per hour. He's literally shouting down the camera.
Yeah,
It's genuinely hard to keep up. He goes in the restaurant. He orders the Krispy Kreme burger.
Yes.
It's a. I mean, look. I don't want to judge anyone for what they eat because God knows what I put inside
Yeah, yeah.
myself. It's a Krispy Kreme donut with a beef burger and a chicken burger in it, and it ticked the boxes for him so much that he did his thing, which is to vacate and eat on the street. And if you listen to it, he says it was like crack.
I find the equation of food with drugs on Instagram a lot, right? Kind of crack sauce, crack, like it was like crack. It's just like a lot of. It's a very strange.
It's always
thing.
crack. They always say crack. Now I'm going to do the first one of the episode and look to the ceiling and think, do I want to talk about this?
Oh, that's our thing. His thing is vacating, getting on his hands and knees to eat a burger. Our thing is you looking to the ceiling to work out whether you want to admit to something or say something that you know I'm going to have to edit out later.
You don't need to edit it out. It's not incriminating. That's genuinely something I do.
There's a defence for every offence.
How come you can help me? No way, you haven't got any money. Okay, it's always crack.
Crack.
The people that will say about drugs, that people say, oh, that food was so good, it was like drugs, they'll always say it's like crack. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I've done crack.
Fucking hell, have you?
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, I have.
Oh my God.
I have.
Oh my God.
That's perked him up a bit, hasn't it? I have.
Oh my God.
I have.
We spent 20 minutes before doing this discussing things that he should or shouldn't say. And the answer to all of them was no. And they were a million times tamer than admitting you've done crap.
But I don't think it's not. I don't think I can go to jail for that. I don't think, and it's not upsetting for anyone. You know, I was a bit younger. I was on a night out.
Okay.
It got offered to me. It was proper how it should be as well. I was down a back street in Soho, late at night.
Just doing a bit of crack.
Had a good old honk on it. And I'll say this: it was really, really good. But I didn't.
We do not condone the taking of
crack.
crack.
No, I don't condone it. And I'll say I didn't want to do it again. Really, I think I was kind of in the wrong situation. Like I think, I don't know. I just did. If your measure of a good burger is if it was like that, I've had better burgers. Is what I'd say about that. That's what I'd say about that. So look,
that can be our thing. You can actually assess things. We could do a review channel where you can assess things in relation to crack, having actually done crack. We could do cheeses. We could do wines. Jacob's crack reviews. Is it better than crack?
And if it is, I have to do what he does and run outside. So that's the next thing we should talk about, by the way. So his gimmick is if he likes something enough, he sort of goes, I had to vacate. Mm-hmm. In the whole thing of like, I had to run outside and eat it on the street. Now I should say again, sort of doxing myself a little bit. This is really near where I live.
Big D's food
kitchen.
important. D's kitchen.
It's on Holloway Road. The road outside is the A1. It's 2 lanes of traffic on each side. It's a really busy, horrible road.
Yeah.
Like it's the last place you'd ever want to get on your hands and knees and finish off a burger.
Imagine kind of driving along there one day and you just drive past you. Is that man on all fours eating a burger with a donut in it?
Well, should we talk about the donut?
Please. We've got to address the donut.
We've got to address the donut. He's eating it in a...
We've moved on from you having done crack to the more important stuff about the donut being in a burger.
So he's got it's a Krispy Kreme donut with a burger in it.
Are they just going down Tesco's and buying 12 Krispy Kremes a day?
Well, either that or they've got
own.
some kind of wholesale with Krispy Kreme, but it is a Krispy Kreme donut with a burger in it. I actually, because we've obviously planned we were going to do this, I walked past the other day, peeked inside.
You did a bit of field research?
I did, yeah. I peeked inside, and I mean, yeah.
Is it still on the menu?
Yeah. And it is a Krispy Kreme. It is definitely like you can see out the back they've got boxes.
That's mental.
Well, it's mental because it's like, how much must they be spending on? Yeah. It's not expensive, by the way. Like the burger itself is like £6 or something like that. So God knows how they're doing that.
Well, maybe before this comes out, can we get you down there and you could actually get one?
I'm not eating that shit.
Do give us a share, John.
No, look, I'm not. But okay. So again, I'm going to tread this line very carefully, and I don't mean this in a weird way with anyone. We spoke on the podcast before about how racial heritage will impact on what you'll do, right? I've suggested on the podcast before that I think black people don't like cocaine as much as white people do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not backed up by any facts or any data.
No, it's anecdotal.
It's anecdotal, yeah.
I think people of an Asian or an Islamic heritage prefer sweet things to white people.
Right.
I think you can kind of see in the way, and this happens in London, and it's obviously sweet. there were kind of like creams and places like that, sort of dessert shops popping up, and it's almost, I think, in that culture, kind of replaces what pubs function as.
Right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Beer. I think it's somewhere that people of an Asian or Islamic culture will go and just sort of chill of an evening, have like an ice cream or a dessert.
Yeah.
But they do have a much sweeter tooth than us. In the way, like, I think white people, the sweetest they will go with their burger bun is brioche.
Okay.
And even for me, I mean, you might notice, actually, my missus has to go out for us to record these. It's not healthy. But she's gone down the shop.
Yes.
You might have heard her talking about how we're having burgers for tea.
Burgers for tea.
She'll get brioche buns, and they'll be too sweet for me.
Too sweet?
I'm 90s, man. I'm sesame seed.
Yeah.
Ideal situation, I'm sesame seed.
Yeah. So kind of soft and flaky, they fall apart.
Yeah. Well, the brioche.
No,
sorry, the sesame. Yeah, that's what I like.
Cheaper the better.
I like proper old school, like, barbecue. You know what I mean? When you're having a barbecue around a
bit of American
house.
plastic cheese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A Krispy Kreme, I could eat.
Before fucking Jamie Oliver came along and ruined everything.
Do you think he's behind brioche?
I think he's probably behind brioche. I think that's one of those things. That's like a government conspiracy to me. Big brioche have been in there. They've got to Jamie, and like, because no one wanted that. We didn't want that. We didn't want brioche buns.
You don't want that.
Who wants it? I think idiots like Todd want it with their crack sauce or their Chairman Mao salsa or whatever. I don't want that. I don't want Jamie Oliver to come. I want good British buns for British people. No, checking.
Are you? Because the thing is, here's what I was going to say. I do think people of an Asian or a Muslim heritage.
But yeah, so you're conflating two points though. So there's one point which is that in cultures where alcohol is not part of that culture, a dessert shop or a place to hang out in the evening that's not focused around alcohol.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
That's one. Yeah, so
the
that's
other
more
thing
about,
is you're
that's
saying
more about somewhere to go.
That's like a cultural
but
thing.
What I'm saying
you're
is,
saying also hereditarily, or they're in that culture
cuisine.
They also
like
prefer
sweet
sweeter
stuff. They like
things.
Sweet stuff. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, 2 points. I'm not sure I agree with either of them.
If anyone's ever met anyone with a different culture, please feel free to write in. No, I fucking do know people. They like sweeter stuff. They do like sweeter stuff.
I'm not comfortable with the word they. I don't know.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's different
people
culture.
From an
People
Asian
from different
culture,
cultures.
people from an Islamic culture.
Sure.
Like, let's not beat around the bush. It's a Somali establishment.
Yes.
And they've got
proudly so by the looks of it. It's called Somali sauce. I like that.
Yeah. They've got the house Somali sauce. But yeah, it is served in a Krispy Kreme burger. Now, Jon the Food Don, we kind of mentioned this before recording.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of slang.
Yes.
That would imply.
Well, his name's Jonathan Crouch, but he says leng quite a lot. I'm not going to. Far be it from me to police people's language or, frankly, to guess people's ethnicity. I just will say that Jonathan Crouch today does suggest a certain
When Jon the Food Don was christened and his parents said, and they said, what have you named your son, Mr. and Mrs. Crouch? And they said, Jonathan. I don't think they imagined that one day he'd be Jon the Food Don who says things a leng. And who rolls his R's as he does brethren the burger.
Again, as I said earlier, do give us a share, John.
No, listen, I fucking love the guy. Because he is, and we'll go on to the next video now.
Yeah, let's do that.
He's genuinely, like, he loved Dee's Kitchen. Yeah,
it's got five-star food rating.
By the way, Dee's Kitchen, they are up against it because anyone who knows Holloway Road knows that they are next door to Crystal Kebabs, which is the best in the area.
Okay.
Best in the fucking area, man.
That's Jacob's crack review.
No,
is it better than crack?
Yes. It is, yeah, but I think I might have had bad crack.
I would like some crack as well as the kebab if we can organise it.
Neither anymore. My stomach can handle either. But so basically next door to Dee's is a place called Crystal Kebab, known in the area as like the best. There used to be a place called Waterfall Kebab, which was so bad that it shut down.
Right.
But also I remember queuing for like a fucking, I don't know, halloumi or falafel or something from Crystal, the good one. And I remember a guy came in and was like, "Hi guys, can I get like a doner, blah, blah." And they were like, "Yeah, 10-minute wait, mate." And he was like, "Oh, 10 minutes, but I'm in a rush." And they genuinely said to me, like, "Don't like it? Go to Waterfall." And that's how arrogant they are.
Yeah,
so the fact that
right.
Dee's has turned up next door and is thriving, brethren the burger.
That guy's still waiting for his kebab.
Well. But Jon the Food Don, Do not think he's just going to stroll into your establishment and dish out a 9.5
No
like he
way.
did with these, man.
No way.
You have to be good. He went to, I think the next one's Fireaway. Now,
I believe so.
Fireaway, they've got here we go. They've got branches all over London. You ever been to Fireaway?
I've not. No, is this the pizza one? Yeah.
It's the pizza one. Again, this is on Holloway Road as well. Maybe
Right.
he lives near me. Their whole thing is they could do pizza in 120 seconds.
What?
It's you know that thing of like we've got a proper oven. It's thin as anything.
Right.
In and out quick. Have a look at this. John ain't sure.
John's not sure. All right. So okay. 120
Pizza
seconds.
vacation worthy. In this new series, I'll be looking for the best pizza spots on the high street today. My first stop was
pointing at his
Fireaway
captions.
Pizza. I walked in, scanned the
This is North London as well, is it?
Yeah.
Modern, vibrant, and fresh, plus they had
Modern, vibrant, and fresh seems to be his thing.
He says Wagwan to Food Bay. That's his mate. Always pays with cash, which again I like.
Pizza, the meathead pizza, and a bag of cannolis.
Yeah, we can pause. We can pause.
I just want to acknowledge, again, he's very stringent on hygiene. A good old
Yeah, he does
like
a thing where he
that,
kind of wipes his hand in a claw-like fashion along
to
the.
proper get his fingertips
Yeah.
on there, see if there's any grease. But then what he drops, which I find so funny, is he goes, he goes, there's motherfucking flies everywhere. Again, that's not even like a kind of British slang term that's regularly used.
No, that's Yank.
That's The Rock. Motherfucking. I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson. There's motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking. There's motherfucking flies everywhere.
There's motherfucking flies with this motherfucking Fireaway.
Imagine me. Like, imagine when I made you a cup of coffee this morning. Imagine you'd asked for oat milk and I gave you cow's milk. Imagine you'd gone, oh, there's motherfucking cows. It's the strangest use of language I've ever heard.
And I know that it's strange because I've been doing this thing, I think you might like this recently, with Emma, my wife, where I talk like an American teenager, but in an English accent. And so if something's good, or if she's like, oh, should we have like a casserole for dinner on Saturday or whatever, I'll be like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Oh, freaking hell yeah. Let me get that casserole. Hell yeah, dude. Bro, that's sick. And it's like, it's something so gross about it. Like, it's gross even in an American accent, but an English accent being like, motherfucking flies in this motherfucking Fireaway. It's like,
How did your wife respond when you gave like
she
that?
doesn't know like it.
She watched the rest. Yeah. Right, so he's selling us a price, £28.50, but he has got about 3 pizzas on the go.
Bretren's the meathead pizza.
Bretren's again.
First bite of this and will I?
Will I?
Will I?
Will I? Nah,
No.
worthy this was not.
Shows you how good Dee's was.
All of the different meats
Fuck,
on
and
this
he sat
pizza
there
tasted
saying this is
exactly
dog
the
shit
same
in
as
front of the owner.
Well, okay, sorry to pause. I thought that.
Right.
When I first started watching this, again, I was quite stoned and I was watching it, so I was like, Jesus Christ, he's shouting motherfucking flies. He's talking, he's going, nah.
Oh, it's a voiceover.
It's
I
a
guess.
voiceover, yeah, that's how he gets
But,
away.
but they can tell that he's not vacating, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they know Jon the Food Don, they're watching him, and as he's doing the will I, they're going, vacate, nah, and they're like, oh, no.
Giuseppe's gathered around with his wife and 3 daughters going, please, we need him to vacate so bad. If he doesn't vacate, we're going to have to close down one of the other. Please, Willie.
Nah. The motherfucking pizza weren't up to it, bruv.
Not
They
leng.
cooked the base perfectly. Even the garlic sauce was that cheap Harrison's bullshit.
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 Next up was
Yank.
the barbecue boss. When I took my first bite of this blood, absolutely no vacation was necessary either. They were very generous with the vegetables, a bit stingy with the chicken, and that barbecue sauce tasted mad cheap. But the cannolis,
Now he's got
fam,
some
for me,
cannolis.
these saved the
Food
day.
Bay likes
Why?
cannolis.
The pastry was flaky and crispy with the pistachio and chocolate filling being silky smooth and sweet, you know. The milk was defeated, man.
Sweet, you know.
If you like my content, save this video.
Now,
Tell me where to go
again,
next.
what
I'm giving
he's genuinely discerning there. Do you know what I mean? I've had a Fireaway. It's decent pizza. It's
Decent,
not
yeah.
bad. It's fairly cheap as
It's not
well.
that leng, but it's pretty
No,
leng.
it's motherfucking no. It's decent pizza, but he's genuinely discerning. He's like, no, the meaty toppings have just tastes of salt. You know, the base was cooked nicely, but the sauce wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But then what's really funny is when he talks about the
Cannolis, yeah.
cannolis. He genuinely sounds like he's on Bake Off.
Yeah.
He's like the pastry's flaky.
He's
and
giving out
crisp.
Hollywood handshakes and stuff.
But this is the thing. Like when you compare him to, like, we spoke about Todd. We weren't a fan of Todd.
No, I think that's fair to say. And his words probably got back to him as well.
Yeah, well, he's not arsed, man. I looked at his stories the other day. He's fitting out a brand new kitchen unit wherever he lives. Yeah. But he's just positive about everything. Yeah. And I think that's what kind of got my goat, is that not just in a food sense, in an existential sense. I felt like he was kind of gaslighting me into just loving a world that doesn't deserve to be loved. Right. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with Jon the Food Don, like he's discerning, and I like that, and it means that when he's rated, Dee's Kitchen, which as I said I've never go into, but I walked in the other day just to peek at their donuts. But
excuse me,
it actually adds value to when you enjoy, and I think that's kind of, well, I don't want to get too philosophical. I think that's something you have to do in life.
Right. My
mate who I go to the football with, I go and watch football with the same guy every week. What drives me mad about him is he's too positive about everything. It honestly, it kills me. He like, and if I say like, oh, Havertz was bad today, which I say every week. If I say Havertz was bad today, he's like, I know, dude, but we don't have to worry about that. We're better than we used to be. Things are good, and I'm like, well, I'm not denying that,
right? But
you have to acknowledge the bad things. And like, if Arsenal lose, right, I'll say afterwards, I'm like, oh mate, I'm worried that we're not going to be able to win the title if we keep losing games like this. He was like, we have to just not worry about winning the title. Let's just enjoy it. And I want to say to you, I want to like grab him by the fucking scruff and be like, you're not allowed to enjoy things that are actually good until you acknowledge things that are actually bad. Do you know what I mean?
Could we get Jon the Food Don to deliver this message to your friend? You got to motherfucking acknowledge that Kai Havertz is not leng.
You know how you can like hire a Grinch at Christmas to turn up at your house and just like trash everything? You should be able to hire Jon the Food Don to be able to like grab your mates by the scruff of their neck and deliver quite a philosophical like, you can't enjoy the good things in life, bruv, unless you start saying when things are shit when they're shit. You get me? If there's motherfucking flies everywhere, you gotta say there's motherfucking flies everywhere. It's bullshit.
Will I? Can we can get a cameo maybe? Or I mean, it's probably cost more for an in-person appearance, but we could do it. I think we could club together.
Do you know what I mean by that? About people who don't acknowledge the ills in life, they shouldn't be able to appreciate the good things.
I do, although what I would say is, and this might shock you, but I've had a problem in my life with negative thinking, and in the course of doing some therapy, the one idea that I've been introduced to is like, is the positive thing as true as the negative thing, but you just choose to believe one or the other. So I remember I had this I think I might have mentioned this before, like an emblematic argument with my former girlfriend before my wife, and we were camping and it was raining and the tent was leaking, and it was shit. That's objectively shit, I think.
Yeah.
But there was something about it where she was like, well, let's just kind of look on the bright side. Like, we're all here. It's going to be all right. We'll sort it out. And it's like, I'm with you. I'm like, no, it's fucking shit. This is the Kai Havertz of camping. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. Yeah. But what did that serve me in that situation to think that? Do you know what I mean? Because it just made me angry, and it made me upset, and it made me annoyed. And so, like, what does it enable me to do? Is it that I am truly seeing the world as it is, which is to say, it's not a good situation? Like, if your house was burnt down and all your stuff was gone, if you were sitting in the ashes going, oh, it's all right, isn't it? It's not bad. That would be mental. But in those situations where it's not a life or death thing, what does it serve you to be like, this is fucking bollocks?
Do you ever have a piss that you've needed to go for so long, and the enjoyment of going for the piss makes you think, that was almost worth how uncomfortable it was nearly pissing myself on the bus?
Only every hour and a half, brother. I see what you mean.
Do you see what I mean? It's like it's like when you come in from the cold, and you're in a nice warm house and you can take your jacket off and sit by a nice radiator.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful sentiment.
You almost think to yourself, it was worth being cold.
So the good times the bad times give clarity to the good times.
Clarity to the good times, exactly that. But also it's like, I don't know. I know what you're saying, and I do think you have to sort of say to yourself sometimes, does it serve me to not enjoy something? Like, is it better to almost be comfortably numb and just plaster a smile on and go, Havertz kept the ball okay. No, I don't mind the tent. Back to Kai Havertz. But the tent was wet, but we're here together and we're having a good time. But I guess my thing, I think I'm kind of guilty of this, and this is something that came up with me in therapy as well. This is a weird part of my autism.
How has Jon the Food Don got us here?
Well, fair play. I like to apply numbers to everything. That's like how I kind of rationalise things. I like to think in terms of numbers all the time.
Kai Havertz, 0.
Well, but like your experience of the camping that day, you were having a kind of 3 or 4 out of 10 time.
Yeah.
Because it was wet and you were uncomfortable and it wasn't what you hoped it to be. But then I think because you'd had that, if the next day was warm and sunny and you got to do what you wanted to do and you were more comfortable,
Right.
you could then have an 8 or a 9 out of 10 day. Whereas I don't know whether this is true. Maybe people are capable of doing this, but I don't really think you're capable of just having, when things are really bad, just calling it a 6.
Yeah.
I don't think you can then have a 10 because it's like you've just numbed yourself.
If you say on the day that Nan died, well, it's a 6 out of 10, then it's like, do you ever get
what's
to
your
a 10?
wedding day? Do you know what I mean? Like, see, I do think that though.
There can't be 2 out of 10 points difference between Nan dying and your wedding day. Do
you
you know what I mean?
understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And but it's also that thing of like, if you're if you're numb, you're numb. Numb doesn't mean not feeling pain.
Right.
Numb means not feeling anything.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you numb yourself to things, it doesn't. I don't know. I guess my theory with it is it's not possible to say I'm not going to feel bad. I think if you're going to say I'm not going to feel, you're saying I'm not going to feel.
Yeah.
And that's my frustration with people who don't. Anyway, let's get back to a guy talking about chicken shops.
That's like the most insightful conversation I've had in about 6 months, and it has been stimulated. I don't know, watching another clip talking about serving us. What is another clip going to do after that?
I don't know.
After going from numb, when you realise numb is not just not feeling pain, numb is feeling nothing.
Okay.
See you next week, Ross.
We'll do this one quickly, but what the reason I want to talk about this one is to kind of keep us on topic of like that thing of like. You have to be able to acknowledge the bad to really appreciate the good.
You can't have a peak without having a trough.
What I want you to do is like this one, you know, without sort of spoiling it, it's a somewhat negative review.
Right.
But I don't think he looks unhappy.
All right,
do you know what I mean?
Let's see what he's up to.
I went and paid pizza and chicken to go in North Cheam a visit. I walked
North
in, scanned them,
Cheam?
and you knew what I was getting. Placed my order with the boss man, whose hat had seen better days.
Having a go at his hat.
They need to learn how to deep clean their shit. Everything here looked generic, like the name Derek. But the boss man here also need to invest in some new furniture ASAP because this was just fucking ridiculous.
But he's smiling.
Yeah.
Issue. I don't know if the boss man were bunning in the back or the extractor fan weren't working, but it got bare smoky in the shop. I grabbed their barbecue ribs, 3 wings, and a ringer burger meal. My entire bill, £12.97.
Bargain.
The burger. I took my first bite of this and will I? Nah. Even though I did a vacate blood, this was a very decent boss man chicken burger. As
Very
every
decent.
element in here tasted relatively fresh.
And he's putting it in context. It's good for a boss man shop.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
I think he said it's as big as his dick. Should we watch it back?
There was a good amount of meat on the bone with the barbecue
Sorry.
sauce tasting blood. This was a very decent
Now listen.
boss man chicken burger as every element
Gets to
in
the
here
rib.
tasted relatively fresh. Next up was the barbecue ribs. Fam, they were as big as my dick.
Yeah, he said it's as big as his
I
dick.
thought he said it was as red as my dick.
There was a good amount of meat on the bone with the barbecue sauce tasting sweet and smoky. These are some of the better boss man ribs I have had in a long while. Next up though were the fucking wings.
Next up though were the fucking wings. He spits it out.
Spits it out. No wonder it's dirty in there. You're spitting your food all over the place like a camel.
The mill slightly defeated man, I threw the dead wings in the trash. If you want the truth and not a spoof, make sure to drop me a follow. I'm giving these man a
You want the
4.
truth, but not a spoof.
He gives him like a 4 out of 10, and he walks out. I guess to come back to the sort of philosophical stuff we talk about there, he ain't happy. He walks in, boss
boy.
man's hat has seen better days.
Yeah.
The place is filthy, needs a deep clean.
He's
not
like my mum coming around my student house. This place needs to clean. It's disgusting.
He doesn't like the seats are too low for him to properly sit at the sort of counter.
He's having to go at the furniture.
He doesn't really like the food, but he managed to say he had burgers sort of decent. The ribs were as big as his dick, and he seemed to quite like them.
Funny left turn there, yeah.
How did he get onto the fucking wings? And he spat them out there so bad. He walks out giving it a 4 out of 10. But I think to come back to the sort of philosophical thing, he's really acknowledged how bad it is. He said, yeah, this is bad. But he's not unhappy.
He's about.
Do you know what I mean?
He's about the journey, not the destination.
Well, I guess,
Live, laugh, love.
I don't know whether it's because he's got Dee's Kitchen in the calendar next. You know what I mean? Whether he's like, tomorrow I'm going to go to Dee's.
Well, maybe that's the way of looking at it. There's always a Dee's Kitchen around the corner. Right.
Exactly that. And I think, again, to come back to the fact, this is going out in Advent season, right? We're building up to Christmas now. And I think the tough thing around Christmas sometimes is to just acknowledge it's bad. And to get a little bit personal, last year, 2022, was the worst Christmas of my life.
Right.
Worst, like comfortably the worst Christmas of my life. Me and my girlfriend, she was pregnant at the time. We had like a 2-year-old, and we just worked ourselves to the bone. We've both been working so much. We sort of hadn't made enough time for the relationships and the kids, and it was just really, really, really hard. We got to Christmas, went back to her family's house. We hadn't really planned it very well. It was all a bit messy. She was so like tired that she was genuinely hospitalised on Boxing Day for like exhaustion. She was really unwell. And you know, we were having sort of problems with the relationship. Things were really hard. I then had to fly back to fucking England for our mate's wedding, which was on the 28th of December. Yeah, I flew into Liverpool. Had to get a train to Warrington, where one of our friends picked me and my suitcase up.
Journey from hell.
Up to the Lake District. It was the worst Christmas of my life.
Right.
I wish I'd had a Krispy Kreme burger. No, I want to be serious. Now, like, I think, you know, I'm having a good time this year.
Yeah.
But I think at the time, what I wish I'd done is remembered that this is bad, things will get better.
Right.
I don't think what I wish I'd done is gone, this is great. Do you know what I mean? I don't wish that I'd pretended that Havertz was good. I don't wish I'd pretended that the tent was dry.
Yeah.
I guess, like, you know, this is, and we do try and acknowledge this stuff on this podcast.
We do.
Like the sort of mental health stuff and all that. Like, I don't think having a good outlook on life means pretending that shit things are good. I think you can say it's 4 out of 10. I think you can say it's filthy, it needs a deep clean. I think you can say the wings are bad. Don't spit them on the floor. But do you know what I mean? I essentially what I'm trying to say is, if you're having a bad Christmas, say it's a bad Christmas. Say it's shit. Do something about it if you can.
Or threaten to have a fight with James Acaster on Instagram.
We're coming for you. But ultimately, what I've learned from Jon the Food Don is there's nothing wrong with acknowledging when things are bad. But do it with a smile on your face and be like, yeah, be all right, go to Dee's Kitchen now.
What a wonderful message. And what a wonderful lesson Food Don Jonathan Crouch, the lengest man in Britain, has taught us. Thank you, Food Don John, for everything you've done for us. And we hope you have a lovely rest of the Advent season.
Yeah. Enjoy your Christmas. And we'll be back with a Christmas special next week.
Bye.